Hi, Brian from Airflow Music here once again. Welcome back to another video. In yesterday's video we started out working on some expanded scale exercises, cycling up and down through fragments of each mode of the scale. We were working major scales in this case. And there's a reason that I like these kind of exercises. Not only do we get to work on our scales, but we also really get to work on connecting our registers and making them into one range from bottom to top and vice versa. Rather than what happens sometimes, which is that we can end up having one approach to playing high and one approach to playing low, and it can be tough to mix between the two. So we're going to continue on from yesterday with a slightly more advanced version of the same exercise. Yesterday's video we were working up and down in 4-note fragments of the scale, and now we're going to make it a little trickier, extend the distance we go in a single direction at any time. And we're going to make that 6-note fragments of the scale. On paper, it looks something like this. Apart from the difference in the number of notes, that does change a couple things. We're dealing now with a different meter. We're going to play this one in 12/8 because it breaks down most easily into a 3-note pattern, so it makes sense to put this in a compound meter. I guess we could just as easily write this still in 4/4 but with 8th note triplets, but this is another way of writing the same thing. Anyway, other than that, the rules are basically going to stay the same for how we approach this. For right now, I'd like you to just focus on playing this once through at a reasonably slow tempo and ignoring the repeat. So we're just going to play slurred. And that's how I'm going to demonstrate it. Again, once I get this under my fingers, I would probably make the repeat. But to begin with, let's just go a little slow and focus on getting smoothly from one end of the exercise to the other, without any gaps in between notes, without any crashes from interval to interval, even though the intervals are small, and generally just keep everything moving nice and smoothly. So, let's get into the demonstration. Once again, we're going through all 12 keys. We're following the cycle of fifths, and I'm going to set my metronome to 100 beats a minute and get into this thing. And once again, we are going to play this at a comfortably soft volume. That's mezzo piano or softer, hopefully. But whatever the softest volume, you feel like you can play this without needing to pinch your lips unduly to control anything. You want to stay nice and relaxed, take deep breaths, have good breath support, and play nice and easy. Okay? That's my goal. So here comes the demonstration, and I'll see you on the other side. 1, 2. One, two. One, two. One, two. One, two. Bad start. Let's do that again. 1, 2. Let's play in the right key, shall we? 1, 2. That's 1, 1, 2. Fell over my fingers a little bit there, so let's do that one again. Number 12. 1, 2. Okay, so there we have it. Got through that reasonably happily. As you saw, I had to go back and restart a couple of times, mostly because I had response problems on some of the lower notes, and then, got my fingers tied up. If something like that happens, unless I'm deliberately making it a thing to really carry on regardless of what happens, I will often go back and make sure I get off to a better start on something like that. If it really becomes a thing I need to focus on, then I'll, go back multiple times and make sure I really get to grips with it. But for the most part, those were pretty much okay, and the smoothness through the registers is the main thing that I'm looking for, and I was fairly happy with that for the most part. So the low note thing and that response is something I need to address in the rest of my practice for the day, but not worth necessarily going back over and over to deal with, particularly not in the video for you guys. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I probably forgot to mention, but if you'd like the PDF of this exercise to practice for yourself at home, then of course it's available to download for free from the Airflow Music online store, and you will find the link for that in the description below this video. I'll be back tomorrow with the third exercise in this little sub-series, which is when we move up to full octaves of each modes, travelling through this pattern. It's kind of fun to practice, but it does get a little rangier. So I guess for that reason you could consider it to be slightly more advanced. Right now we're dealing with major scales, so none of these are too bad. Hopefully your major scales are fairly familiar to you by now, particularly after we went through the mode by mode scale workout at the beginning of the year. If you didn't see those videos, they'll be linked down below as well. And so, of course, this is something we could apply to virtually any scale type as a way of practicing. And we'll probably revisit it at some stage, both to go a little faster and be able to get the tongue to repeat going, and also to play on some different scale types, because it's a useful way of doing different things. Anyway, but that's stuff for future videos. If you've got any questions about this exercise, or if I glossed over something and didn't explain it properly, please do leave a comment and ask a question, and I will be sure to address it in an upcoming video. And apart from that, I'm not sure there's too much else to say. I'm going to pick the horn back up, and I suggest you do the same. So until I see you in the next video, go practice.